changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. It's Wow Wednesday, and today I'm going to share a story from our new book for Mother's Day, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Best Mom Ever. This story, which is called No Questions Asked, will make you shake your head because it is hard to explain. Tom Schwartz starts off by telling us about something that happened when he was 10 years old. His family went on a weekend camping trip in Pennsylvania. They rented one of those raised wooden tent platforms, those ones that put you about 3 feet off the ground. And that worked out well because it was a rainy weekend. And they had fun, even though it rained. They went to sleep after their first day with lots of good memories. But the next morning, an hour before dawn, Tom's mother woke up his father and said they had to leave immediately. She wouldn't say why. She just insisted they had to leave immediately. So Tom's father woke up the kids, and they quickly packed up, carrying their cots and sleeping bags to the car. And then the last thing they did was they folded up their tent, which was really heavy because it was soaked by the rain. And they carried it off that raised wooden platform and dumped it in the back of the car with a big crashing sound. At least they thought the big crashing sound was from the tent falling into the back of the car. But a second later, they realized it wasn't the tent that had made the sound. It was a huge tree that had fallen over and crushed the tent platform they had been standing on moments before. If they hadn't gotten up early due to their mother's crazy demand, they would have still been sleeping on that platform, and they would have been crushed by that tree. Tom's mom showed no visible reaction. She just looked over at the crushed platform and said, "Get in the car, kids." Tom says his mom did it again the following summer. Tom was sick, so sick that he couldn't walk. His mom carried him into the doctor's office. The doctor's diagnosis? Just a summer virus. But Tom's mom didn't believe it. She took Tom to a medical lab, and without a prescription, she forced the technician there to draw and analyze a specimen of his blood. When the technician got the results, he told Tom's mom to take him to the nearest emergency room for an appendectomy. Tom spent that summer at home, recuperating. No one asked his mom how she knew. They had just accepted by then that mom always knew. Tom went on to a career in healthcare. And 2 decades later, he was working as a registered nurse in the same emergency room that he had passed through when he was 11 on his way to that appendectomy. An ambulance had just arrived with a patient in full cardiac arrest. Tom was the senior nurse on duty, and so he directed the EMTs to bring the patient into the crash room, and he called for the Code Blue team. Within seconds, the team was surrounding the stretcher. And the team included a new doctor. She didn't put the defibrillator paddles on the patient's chest correctly, so their first attempt to bring him back didn't work. Tom told her, "Just give me the paddles and step away from the stretcher." You know how they say clear on TV? So everybody was supposed to move away from the stretcher, but the resident leaned in too close because she wanted to see how to do it correctly, and she bumped Tom up against the metal railings of the bed, which caused several things to happen. Tom got hit with 360 painful joules of electricity, which stopped his heart. The patient, who did not get the second electrical shock, died. And Tom's mother, who was vacationing with Tom's father in Florida, turned to him at that exact moment and said frantically, "Call Tommy, he's in the ER, something's wrong." No one asked her how she knew that time either. But later in her life, Tom finally did. "Hey, Mom," he asked, "how did you do that? How'd you always know when something was going wrong?" She just shrugged and said, "Not my job to wonder why or how, Tommy. It's just my job to do it." And that's it. Moms just seem to know. I'm Amy Newmark. Thanks for listening today. If you want to read more stories from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Best Mom Ever, you'll find it at Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Costco Canada, Indigo, Amazon, and wherever else books are sold in the U.S. and Canada. Come back tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday for another story about a life-saving individual. But this time, it's a dog.